This episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here is our reoccurring daydream. Us at a drool-worthy pool, surrounded by our business besties. We just finished a powerful exercise on building our dream lives and executing our business goals. Join us if you are ready to be celebrated for taking up space, to feel purposeful, and to live a life of fulfillment. Go to proofitspossible.com for more info. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are multifaceted entrepreneurs, the founders of the Ultimate Girls Trip, and the hosts of Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are also sisters, best friends, and complete opposites, but somehow we always manage to stay on the same team. Join us every week to hear our thoughts on all things entrepreneurship, friendship, family, pop culture, and more. Welcome back, and thank you guys so much for joining us again. Today we are talking about competition and competing with each other and other business owners and friends and family and all of the things and all the negativity that comes when you choose competition over collaboration. So basically, honestly, I've never been in a situation where competition was the better route. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that competition to me is not inherently bad or good. Like people are always like, oh, competition is so bad when it comes to business. Yet competition when it comes to sport is so good. So
Right.
I don't think that it's either good or bad. I think that healthy competition in any way brings new ideas and innovation and all the things.
Right.
If BlackBerry and Apple weren't competing for the best iPhone,
Yes.
15 years ago, we probably wouldn't have today's iPhone. We would have a much less sophisticated version of it. So I do think that competition is good. It's good for
It's a
business. It's
driver of
good for driving
innovation.
things forward.
Yep.
It's good for getting outside of the box, thinking differently,
Mhm.
doing all the things. But I also think that if you see your competitors as
Your enemy,
and you don't build on their ideas, and you don't think like, wow, that was really innovative, I should probably try something like that, or wow, what they're doing seems to be working, maybe I should go down that road. If you don't take what you like from your competition and you simply see them as the enemy and just start hating them, that can swallow you up in a real hurry.
For sure. Well, and not even just hate, but comparing where you choose to do self-hate, where you're like, I'm not good enough, they're better than me,
That's what I'm
falling
saying.
behind.
It can become negative for you to you. It can become negative for you to them. Competition can become negative really easily in a bunch of different capacities. But oftentimes people will say oh, well, they're comparing your 12th chapter to their first chapter. Oh, she's so much further ahead than me that I can't possibly catch up. Well, that's an excuse that you're seeing your competition in a light that just validates your own story.
Yes.
The story you've already decided.
And minimizes whatever they've gone through, which is a story you don't even know. So if somebody's doing better than you, why? That's the thing for me. That's the number one thing I hope everyone takes away from this podcast today is study the winner. Study the person that if you get that little feeling in your gut where you're like, ugh, they're doing better than me, or you do the comparing against that person. Stop yourself and be like, why are they doing better than me? Why do I feel like this? And start seeing them as an inspiration versus your competition. And start being like, okay, well, you know what? She shows up on social media every single day. So that's why her business is the more well-known business, or the more sought after, booking spots or whatever, because she's doing the thing that you're not necessarily doing maybe. And maybe that's an area where you could do better or do more.
Yeah.
Instead of taking that competition and letting yourself quit because of it, because it, like you said, validates your story of feeling sad and the victim of, your competition. You are now going to literally learn. And when I see somebody really, really successful, I'm always like, okay, how'd they get there? What's the vehicle that got them there? Because I would like seat on that vehicle, or I would like to make my own vehicle that could do something similar. So what is that vehicle? And I literally go into like school mode. And like sometimes I'll see somebody and I'm like, oh, they made their money in this other avenue, real estate, let's say. And let's say I'm not interested in real estate. So I realize, you know what? I think they have great advice, but I don't want to get into real estate. That's not the way I see my investments going the best for me, or it's not something I would have enough money for at this time or whatever. But maybe one day I'll keep an eye on this person. Maybe real estate's next for me, or maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
But take the chance to learn. Take the chance to learn about whatever it is that they have done and what's made them a success.
And oftentimes it's just putting yourself out there. Like I remember being in this woman's like business group, and this lady had a product-based business, and her competitor had just gotten into a big box store, and she was like, oh, she got there first, essentially. Like she did it first. And one of the other girls was like, have you ever tried to get into that box store? Like, have you ever reached out to anyone there? Have you ever tried to get into that store? And she's like, well, no.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, so if you're not willing to do the thing to get you there, then you can't be mad when that other person got there.
And know that you're probably going to get told no.
1,000,000 times.
50 times before one of the box stores is like, yeah, sure. We'll put you on our shelves as a trial for 3 months and blah, 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 and like, it's also going to take tons of work. Like it's going to take digging around and calling corporate and trying to find the right person to pitch to. And you're not just going to Google search like how to get into Holt Renfrew. And then the number of the guy or the girl that like makes that decision is going to pop up. You're going to call them. They're going to be sitting at their desk. They're going to answer.
There's not going to be any red tape. You're just going to get them directly.
You're just going to be like, hey, I make my own perfume. I'd like to have it, my whole glass table with just my perfumes. Like, see you there on Saturday. Can't wait to set up my display.
Yeah.
That's not how it's going to look. It's going to look way harder than that. And it looked way harder than that for your competition. So
absolutely.
And truthfully, my like favorite thing to do is be like, listen, we're all in this business. Let's be friends. Let's share our actual information. Let's help each other thrive together, because guess what? The perfume area has 300 perfumes.
And some is going to appeal to some people, and some is going to appeal to other people.
Exactly.
And the same people are probably not buying both perfumes. So you're not the same. You're not
exact product ever.
Yeah. And like your target audience might not like your perfume, but might love hers. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not stealing from her potential clients in order to get yours. A lot of the time, I think that's the case.
You actually just touched on something that I think is like highly important to discuss. The idea that, this is a money mindset that is usually ingrained in people from childhood. And it's the idea that rich people are bad. People who are successful are bad because there's one pie, and that pie has to be divvied up. So in order to get more of that pie, you've taken more money out of the system than other people. So you're actually a really bad guy. You're stealing it from the other good, hardworking people. And that is bullshit. It needs to be erased from our memories. There is more than enough money to go around, and there is more than enough wealth out there that why is it not? And you are not taking from others. If you come up with an idea, if you create something from nothing, people are going to choose your product because it brings them value, because they are interested in it, because they want to spend their hard-earned money on what you're offering. And that is a beautiful exchange. So to make that wrong is just a nasty, nasty conversation with yourself that you are probably stuck in a loop about,
Absolutely.
Like, because there isn't one pie. The world is literally filled with money and money-making opportunities. And once you get into this like different thought process around that, I like go through this world and I'm like, oh, do you know what would be a great business? Somebody should do this. Somebody should offer that. Because what it does is like it opens your own subconscious to seeing opportunity everywhere.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I do think that there is only one
pie,
And I do believe all of that. Wow, I have some unpacking to do. One of the biggest shifts, the book that shifted my mindset on money the most out of all of books that I've read is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
Yeah.
By
I would agree.
Harvey Ecker, I
Yeah.
think is who,
Yeah.
or
I'm so bad with names and book titles.
something like that. But anyways, just Google Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It is literally, it's been a bestseller for several years, so it'll pop up, no problem.
Yeah.
But that talks all about where you get your money mindset as a child and how you like dismantle the things that you've thought. And every chapter I was like, oh, I did think that. Oh, I thought that too. Oh, it's really, but it gives you this awareness so that you stop thinking like, oh, rich people are bad, making money is bad. There's never enough. Like that's also a story people tell themselves, is that like, no matter how hard I work, there's just never enough money. Like, well, guess what? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that, then there will never be enough. Exactly. You have to have like an abundant mindset. You have to believe that there is more than enough money in the world. And by you having some of it doesn't take away from someone else. And by you having some doesn't mean that it makes you a bad person automatically. Like all of these things we've told ourselves are just money blocks that keep us small.
Absolutely. And honestly, it's why studying winners and their thoughts and getting to know them and getting to closer with people, like they say that you're the average sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if those people need to change for you to get to change your mindsets and your habits and your whatever, make the change, you know, and you don't have to go and cuss out your whole group or your whole family and say everyone's a loser and you're better than them now, so they can all F off. But find some people in your life to emulate, to have conversations with, to learn from, and to study. Because if you are looking to make a change, it is a huge help to find the right mentors. I honestly don't know who I would be if I didn't start seeking out mentors several years ago. Like
absolutely. And even looking at people that like, so for instance, we have a friend, we talk about her a lot on here, that she's not necessarily like a mentor of mine. We are in drastically different industries.
Yeah.
But I often look at her stuff and I'm like, wow, she's got like a really engaged social media following. How has she done that? So it doesn't even have to be someone doing the exact same thing as you, but like you can just see a little snippet of somebody's business or their life that you are like, wow, they're doing that really well. What are they doing that I'm not doing? What are they? Exactly. What can I emulate that will maybe get me the same kind of results? What risks are they taking that I'm not willing to take at this very moment, or I haven't been willing to take, but I should probably change that. If I want what they have, then I have to behave like they do. Like, absolutely. Instead of seeing it as like, oh, that's really triggering that so-and-so's like on another trip. That's one of the like criticisms she often gets. Oh, she's on another trip. Be like, how has she designed her life that she can, step away from her business so often and have enough money to go on that many trips? Like, what is she doing that I'm not doing? And what can I implement so that I can also have that? Rather than feel the feelings of jealousy and comparison, learn from them. Yeah.
Well, and I watched this today. What is Sarah Blakely's husband's name?
Jesse Itzler.
Yes. Itzler. So I saw one of his Instagrams today, and he said, basically, he said, I was spraying my kids down with the hose because it was really hot out. And then my wife yelled and said, supper's ready. So my natural reaction was to turn off the hose, throw it on the ground, and come back to it. Because it's like, well, move on to the next thing. We're in a hurry. And he said, but I quickly stopped myself because it'll take 10 more seconds to put the hose away properly and not have to come back to that job. And he's like, winners don't come back for 1% of the job that they just left undone, unfinished. They finish something and they move on. They use their time effectively. They have a strategy in every, and he's like, you think, who cares? It's the hose. Of course you'll come back to it. What's the big deal? And like, obviously there's going to be areas where we don't do everything perfect every single time. We have to leave the load of laundry in to go pick the kids up at school. Like you can't be like, I'm not picking those kids up until after this laundry is done and folded and put away. Yeah. And I mean, God, wouldn't it be nice if you could just leave the kids at the school and they'd be fine so that you could do all the
Wouldn't
things?
it be nice if somebody else did your laundry? Anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like back to my like love of done for you services. Anybody want to do laundry? Come on
Yes.
over.
You guys,
Anyway,
whoever wants to start a laundry service business, I will be your first customer.
Jamie's begged on here almost every podcast. I think we've done 80. I think we're at 90 podcasts now. If somebody could just.
And it's weird. Nobody's taking me up on the offer. So,
yeah. But like, he's right though. He's right to leave undone a whole bunch of little hairy ends that are giving you stress, causing, and he's like, and just finish the job and move on to the next thing. And how you do something is how you do everything. And we've talked about this a million times in the past, but it's true. If you live in a house that's absolute chaos, your brain's going to be chaos. Your business is going to be chaos. You can't be straight as an arrow doing everything right just in one area. You need a little bit of coverage of everything, doing the best you can in all the areas. So anyway, we hope that you don't hurt your own heart by playing the comparison game, because you will lose. And we want you this week to stop yourself every time you get that little bellyache. When you see someone's post and you get triggered, stop yourself and say, why is this triggering me? And then say, what are they doing differently that I could easily implement today? Because I'll guarantee you, it's not as actually big of a change as you think it is. I think it needs to be. Maybe it's doing 2 extra posts about your business that week. And that's it.
Totally.
Can you commit to that to feel better next week? I would. I would. That would be something that, or maybe it's hire the virtual assistant to make you those posts because you just can't fit it in. But hire the virtual assistant and get some help, because getting help is a tool that you don't have to do everything yourself. You're not alone in this world, potentially.
We want to hear all about your experiences. And we do have one last ask before we depart today. Please go leave us a Google or an Apple or Spotify review. It really resets the algorithm and tells those 2 platforms that you are interested in what we're saying. So we would really appreciate it if you could just go do that for us. It would mean the world. And we are so grateful for all of our listeners. Until next time.
Have a great week. We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.